What's going on, babe?
Hey, babe, how was your day?
It was actually pretty productive. Happy to be home.
Good. You know, we got a game today. Honey, a little rough around the edges.
I'm saying, I've been working all night, taking care of business, getting to the... You know what? I don't even want to talk about it. I got you. I'm not trying to be out here looking like a dusty, and that's why I'm excited to have Teach Hanley as a sponsor of today's video. They help me start and maintain my skincare routine by making the entire process uncomplicated. Honestly, it's the best skincare system for guys like you and me. I recommend you start with their level 1 system, which come with all of the basics: a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin, a 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells, an AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. My favorite part about Teach Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teach Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price and the ability to customize your box. And because Teach Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal. Just click the first link in the description. You'll get 30% off your first box plus a free gift. Click the link and get started today. We're taking care of ourselves. Self-care, fellas, is the first step to be able to get to that bag, to take care of business, and be on top of things and level up in every aspect of your life. Feel the Teach, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels, and I am looking forward to having a phenomenal show today. Thank you for tuning in. It is Thursday, October 5th, 2023, year of our Lord, which means it's Friday Eve. Some of y'all got paid today. I didn't. Some of y'all got paid today. I didn't. What up? What up? What up? What's going on, y'all? What's happening? I see y'all in the chat. Let me get a mental health check. Let me know how y'all feeling today. One word. One word. Mental health check. Let me see how y'all feeling today. Tap in with your boy. Let me know what the word is. How are y'all feeling on this Friday Eve, Thursday morning on the Millionaire Morning Show? What up? What up, family? I know y'all like, dang, Anton, always in a good mood. I am, ain't I? No matter what's going on in my life, I'm always in a great mood. One word, let me know how y'all feel. Excited, blessed. A lot of people feeling blessed, fabulous, blessed, rested, good, focused, excited, grateful, unstoppable, rested, dizzy, blackety, frustrated, motivated, sick, mushrooms. Y'all just be talking. Well rested, ecstatic, grateful, working, outstanding, anxiety, loved, frustrated, indecisive, royalty, hardworking, flustered. We're going to see if we can fix that. Surfing, anointed, busy and productive, focused, amazing, rich. I like that. Chilling, hanging in there, horny. Can't wake up like that. Bossing. What up to my dog, Jay Woodfin? Grateful. Loved, powerful, feeling focused, determined, Powerball. Now, I don't care nothing about no Powerball. Motivated and inspired, blessed, focused, fierce, healthy, terrified. It's not always a bad thing. Red-pilled, focused, getting over a cold. What up, though? What up, though? Present. All right, I love it. Let's get to it. All right, so we got a full show up for y'all today, and so I'm looking forward to be able to pour into y'all. We did a great show last night as far as giving y'all more information on what a successful relationship is supposed to look like. That's completely outside of what y'all expected for me to talk about. But we here, we getting to it. We healthy. We in our right mind. We got another opportunity to become a better version of ourselves and to do great things. And so I'm looking forward to having a conversation with you guys and interacting with the chat. Thank you for allowing me to pour into you guys. So first and foremost, let me give a shout out to Teej Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. If you have not gotten your Teej pack, make sure you do so. Also, on top of that, Bag Chasers. We will be meeting on November 4th in DC. I'm looking forward to it. I got an upcoming tour that I'm planning for next year. It's going to be absolutely awesome. You guys are going to get first dibs. And I'm thinking about making every single tour stop next year because it's going to be completely different from the meetups. We're going to evolve them. But I'm thinking about making every tour stop, A, available to the Bag Chasers first, and then B, free for the Bag Chasers. I got to figure that out. Also, on top of that, I'm dropping a video this weekend inside of the Patreon, so that's going to be awesome. Also got another interview for Uncensored that I'm dropping inside of the Patreon, so as it's edited for next week. And then last but not least, at the end of November, we are doing the Fund Your Business series where you guys pitch me Shark Tank style. I've done it before. If you want to see the previous videos, you're welcome to do so. And then I give you seed money in order to vet out whether or not your business idea is something that you want to pursue with no strings attached to it. So I don't take equity. I don't require anything from you. I just am giving you a leg up, and hopefully you guys can leverage that in order to continue to do things that's great for yourself and using the information that I'm giving you inside of the Patreon in order to be successful. So I'm looking forward to that. If you are not a bag chaser, if you're not a part of the Patreon, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And then last but not least, I want to give y'all an opportunity to continue to be in great spirits. I know that when y'all tune into the Millionaire Morning Show on a daily basis, that I speed your day up, give you a little bit of entertainment. Hopefully you laugh and you learn some things along the way. So we're going to get to the money. We got a lot to talk about. We got to talk about Biden, border wall, migrant crisis, Starbucks, San Francisco, striking workers, the UAW, Kaiser, Waffle House, Tesla. We got a lot to go over today. We're going to get to it. And hopefully, you know me, I'm very impromptu. I'm going to be interacting with you guys in the chat. So, you guys need to keep me informed on how you seeing things so that I can modify and give you what you need in order to be successful. All right. So again, tap to the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as been to the top. Oh, we got to talk about Ben Shapiro too. We got to talk about Ben Shapiro, but I'm going to say that for last. So again, make sure that you guys tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And then get that Teej Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Thank you, Teej Hanley, for sponsoring the show. Hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe, and then make sure you share this with your family and friends. Y'all ready to cook up? Y'all ready to cook up? All right, let's get to it. So first and foremost, we just going to get right to it today. We're not going to go into no long soliloquies. We're not going to try to figure it out. We just going to play it based off of what we see happening all across the board. Starbucks decided that they wanted to close. It's so funny. Scatman says, Unc, they calling you out. They calling you a Nigerian out here in these streets. Y'all know it's a rumor. Hold on, before we get into this. Y'all know it's a rumor. I did the Real Life Street Stars interview, and then people said, oh, man, it's these Nigerians out here. They always... Here, matter of fact, let's just pull it up. This is a live show. We do a little bit of impromptu movement out here. So on Twitter, Anthony Brian Logan tagged me, and he like, Anton, I didn't know that you was Nigerian, but he was laughing or whatever, right? So it's this guy. Here, I'll give y'all a little bit of insight on what's going on in my life. See if we can pull it up. I don't know who this guy is. Never heard him before in my entire life. But let's see if we can call him to the front of the congregation. Not to necessarily hold him accountable, but just so you guys can be aware of what it's like being a content creator out here in these streets. Hold on, give me a second. I got y'all. I thought that this was hilarious too. So let's not do that one. Let's do this. So it's this guy named Mike Baggs, right? It's this guy named Mike Baggs. I have no idea who he is. I never researched him, nor do I care whatsoever, right? So Anthony Brian Logan, shout out to my dog Anthony Brian Logan. He tags me. And he says, Anton, I didn't know you were Nigerian, because Anthony Brian Logan actually knows who I am, right? And so, I'm like, oh yeah, what's the word? What's happening? So I'm always up for a good Twitter conversation, especially because I know it's probably about me. But this is similar to what it is that we this is similar to what it is that we deal with on a regular basis. I see this stuff every day. It's always something as usual. Notice how nobody ever uses their real name. Shout out to Martin Meck. I'm gonna read that super chat shortly. So he drops a clip, right? And it's this one. So it's me on Real Life Street Stars. And then he says, and this is why I put Nigerians as a whole in the same group of white supremacists. This is why I put Nigerians as a whole based off a clip that I was saying. And then obviously it started getting some traction and people wanted to start talk about it and stuff like that. And Anthony Brian Logan tagged me and he said, Anton, I didn't know you was Nigerian. So I responded and I said, absolutely not, right? And then he said, Cap, you Nigerian or some shh. You Nigerian or some shh. Right? And so obviously they go on and you got a lot of different people that's responding to it, whatever, so on and so forth. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so it's funny, right? Because then I wind up responding, obviously. And I don't even know how to navigate this without actually being on my own stuff. But anyways, I responded. And I said, you an idiot, and that's why we don't F with these punk-A, pro-black, corny dudes that want to keep black people running in the Victim Olympics and do anything for clout. Some of us woke up, though, and, as a matter of fact, while we had to get off my nuts. I mean, you know me. Get off my nuts. But here's the thing, and this is one of the reasons why this is hilarious and this is funny to me, right? Because, first of all, it's a game of telephone. Now it's the same thing that we have been dealing with regard to money and careers and all of this stuff, right? It's the same thing all the way across the board. First, I inherited some money. Now I'm Nigerian. I'm not even from Detroit. I'm from the suburbs. I didn't go to Cass Tech, even though it's people that's in the chat that actually went to school with me. My name is not Anton Daniels. I'm married to a white woman. What else we got over here? What else we got going on over here? I done heard everything. I've heard every single, I got a kid. Oh yeah, I got a son, an illegitimate son out here somewhere. But I've heard everything. I've heard every single thing that you could possibly hear and see everywhere, right? And so it's just a game of telephone. And what I tell content creators a lot of times is that you should not be sitting here fighting a fight that's not yours, right? First of all, is the information correct? Secondly, are you criticizing what's being said? Third, this is just what comes with the game. And then fourth, I don't really care because we get into the bag. And so hit dogs holler. And if you want to go over to this guy again, let's go over to this guy real quick. Who is Mike Baggs? Mike Baggs. All right. Dedicated father, real estate investor, land guru. Land guru. What is a land guru? What is a land guru? So he's from New York. All right, so here we go. Let's do this. I got time today. Mike Baggs. 881 subscribers on YouTube. The verse that gave Fat Joe chills. Right. Okay. All right. Mike Baggs regulated official video 8 years ago. Okay, so it looked like he a former failed rapper. I got it. This is him, official Mike Baggs. 8 years ago video, 12 years ago. Follow him on Twitter. All right, let's see what he got going on out here in these streets.
More than time, get money. I'm more than surprised you try to take it from me. I ain't a fool, mama ain't raised a dummy. Never step out bumming, these other niggas funny. I know gangsters, I know bitch niggas. Faggot ass probably walk with a switch, nigga. I keep my circle tight, I don't switch niggas. I was trying to grind and be a rich nigga. You got haters.
All right, let me look at this guy and make sure that this is the right guy. Because I don't know anybody that would name themselves Mike Baggs. Give me a second. Mike Baggs. Is this him? Yeah, that's him. That's him. Let's profile him real quick. Transformation. Transformation Thursdays. That's him. Look like a New York dude. Buck breaking. Yep, that's him. That's him. Look at this soft dude. Oh my God. Really, man? Is this what you want to do? Is this where we going? Is this it? This what we doing in the streets? Listen, y'all. This is what I know for sure. One thing is for sure, and two things is for certain. There's never going to be a shortage, never ever going to be a shortage of people that try to get you A, off your square, and then B, call themselves land gurus, and then C, use race as a hustle to continue to keep you oppressed, running in the victim Olympics. Honestly, it's never going to be a shortage of people that keep y'all voluntarily oppressed in order to try to keep you distracted from whatever it is that you got going on. So listen, man, I don't have nothing to say about Mike Baggs with a Z 2.0, the land guru and real estate investor from New York. God bless you. I wish you many, many happy birthdays. I hope that you're healthy and you happy and that you can get as many people to subscribe over into the Race Hustle so that y'all can continue to run it up and make sure that you're helping people be successful. All right? God bless you. God bless you. He looked more Nigerian than me. And I rock with my Nigerians. What up to my Nigerian people out here in these streets? Shout out to all of the foreigners. Shout out to the people that came in and took over and took your place over here in the United States of America, because a lot of these people that were here and that were born here didn't do the thing that was in their own best interest. God bless you, man. But these are the type of people that want to sit here and have a conversation with me or want to hold me accountable, even though they have nothing going on whatsoever. But they got a Twitter account. So, good job, Mike. You got your 15 minutes of fame. You made the Millionaire Morning Show. Congratulations. See, y'all, I'm not even tripping. I'm not even on no smoke, no beef, no none of that. I'm 100% pushing this success story. You know what I'm saying? I just want to add value into people. I don't want no problems with nobody. I'm just having a good time. I just want to understand who the people are that's having a conversation about me. that call me stuff. I ain't on that type of time. I ain't on no hate. I ain't on none of that. I'm on all vibes. I hope that he's successful. I hope his rap career work out. I hope that his land guru status continues to grow. I hope he continues to be great. God bless you, man. Anyways, let's get over to it. So Starbucks, ladies and gentlemen, y'all ready to get it popping? First, let's get an idea of what's going on out here in San Francisco. And then we're going to go ahead and get to it because we got a lot of money to talk about. I want to give y'all a status update on what's going on out in these streets. And then we're going to go from there, all right?
Needs to happen.
You can that, boss? That? Garbage?
In parts of San Francisco, this scene is a regular occurrence. Unhoused Americans moving street to street, like Anthony, who says he's been living in a tent for the past 3 years.
Why do they call them unhoused? Is that like the proper way to announce it or talk about it instead of saying homeless? Does that give people some form of dignity, or, you know, it makes them feel better about themselves or something like that? Because I just thought that people were using broken English. Why do they call people now, they call them unhoused instead of saying, shout out to the super chats, I'm going to be reading those shortly. Why do they call people unhoused instead of calling them homeless? Let's continue to see what's happening over in our great city of San Francisco.
Right after COVID, it was horrible out here.
What were you doing before then?
Mostly chef work. Being in the restaurants, they shut them down. It was hard to supplement the income in the work.
And you were initially paying $1,200 for rent to share a room.
Yep.
Anthony is one of the 170,000 unhoused Californians struggling to find a permanent home. The San Francisco Department of Emergency Management telling us in a statement, unfortunately, most people either decline to engage, decline offers of shelter, or have shelter already, and we cannot compel people to come inside. But homeless advocates say the city's current 3,000 shelter bed system is not always appropriate for everyone. As of today, there are at least 350 unhoused individuals still on that wait list.
So they have a wait list for shelters, right? Remember, we got the migrant crisis in which we're building tent cities. Wait list for shelters, approaching over 200,000 people that are homeless out there in San Francisco and California. Most of the time they make the trek out there because they have a community and because they have great weather. And San Francisco is literally falling into the pits. Now, the one thing that's interesting about this conversation is that we know that San Francisco has been falling into the dumps for decades. And it's not just San Francisco. There has been a homelessness crisis for as long as I can remember. As long as I've been traveling, as long as I've been able to pay attention, one of my passion projects was homelessness. I volunteered for over a year every single Saturday in order to understand the problem and to add value so that I can hopefully one day make a dent in it, which I can't. I think that there's more things at work that then feed into whether or not people become homeless. But now it's become our social norm, right? Especially over in San Francisco. It's normal for you to see cars and vans, more importantly. People are living out of their cars, they're living out of their trucks, and they're living out of their vans, and then they calling it van life, and then they creating a YouTube channel behind it. It's normal for people to be washing up when Walmart opens up in the morning. And over there in California, specifically San Francisco, they don't even pay for the groceries. You get food, shelter, right? As long as you got a place to be able to sleep at night, this is y'all social norm. Let's continue over to San Francisco and see what's happening.
Nationally, homelessness has risen to over 500,000 people. The Golden State now makes up nearly a third of the nation's homeless population. The reasons are numerous: the high cost of living from the tech boom, the economic downturn during the pandemic, and mental health crises, all adding to San Francisco's homeless population. Jennifer Friedenbach, the executive director of the Coalition of Homelessness, is one of the people working tirelessly to find Anthony and others long-term shelter. Clearly, you have politics on your mind every day.
Yeah, I mean, this is a manufactured issue, homelessness. It was created by a lack of investment.
Shout out to John Doe. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly.
Many across the state say they're frustrated with the growing encampments in their cities.
It looks like a junkyard on our block, and it's just not safe.
It's appalling. It's absolutely appalling. It's not safe. It's unsanitary.
Over the summer, President Biden announcing an extra $3 billion in investment. But on the campaign trail, GOP presidential hopefuls have used the homeless crisis to slam Democratic.
In order for it to become an investment, there has to be a return. You could say grant, you could say throwing money into the wind, you could say just recklessly throwing money at the problem. But in order to have an investment in something, and this is one of the reasons why we need to hold our government officials accountable, it has to be a return, or at least it has to be an expected return. You have to be able to get people off the street to become productive citizens, off drugs. Over a third of who's documented to be homeless live over in California, specifically LA, San Francisco, San Diego. They're going to find a way to get there. They're going to build their tents. They're going to use the bathroom on the ground, on the floor, and then we're going to see what it is it go after that, right? Let's continue.
Leadership. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and former President Donald Trump investing in ads targeting California voters.
No wonder why we've had so many people move from San Francisco to Florida over the last few years.
We will ban urban camping. Violators of these bans will be arrested, but they will be given the option to accept treatment and services if they're willing to be rehabilitated.
So, now, and I'm going to be reading these super chats shortly, and I'm going to be reading the Cash Apps also. Now that you have a general idea of what's going on over in California specifically, right? Now that you have a general idea, I want to bring you up to speed on what the businesses, specifically Starbucks, has decided to do over in San Francisco. Now that they've been facing this problem for an extended period of time, and we see what San Francisco was turning into, a homelessness camp.
Starbucks is joining the long list of large businesses to shutter stores in San Francisco. Here's a look now at the cafes set to close. The locations primarily concentrated in the financial district, as well as one located in Nob Hill. KTVU's Amber Lee joins us now after speaking with customers and a coffee shop owner who used to work for Starbucks about all these closures. Amber.
Julie, we're in the financial district. Behind me is one of the Starbucks slated for closure. Now, many customers tell me they love the idea of having many Starbucks around because of the convenience. This Starbucks at the corner of Mission and Main in San Francisco's financial district is the go-to spot for people who work in the area.
I come twice a day, in the morning and right now. Yeah. It's just really nice to be able to walk across the street.
But as of October 22nd, 7 locations, including this one, will be closed. Most are concentrated in the downtown financial district area. In a written statement, a Starbucks spokesperson said, in part, each year, as a standard course of business, we evaluate the store portfolio to determine where we can best meet our community and customers' needs.
Long story short, they evaluate where the underperforming stores are, and if it's worth it to continue to plow money in investment, hoping to get a return on that investment. And obviously the majority of the spaces that they're operating in San Francisco no longer fits their needs. That's the C student perspective, all right?
Starbucks, at least from what I know, has always acted very quickly in like shifting business strategies. If something's not working, they're like gone.
Aiden Compton tells me he was store manager for the Starbucks on Stockton and Sutter Streets before opening up his own coffee houses in the North Beach neighborhood and on Fillmore Street. He says Starbucks has a lot of stores that are no longer generating the business they did before the pandemic.
But as soon as downtown cleared out, business dried up for everybody.
Now, remember, y'all, when I go to work in the morning, when I come down here into the office in the morning, right? One thing that I'm noticing that has not existed since maybe 2019, right? One thing that I noticed that has not existed since maybe 2019 is that every route to get here downtown is packed. Whereas it used to take me 30 minutes to be able to get here, to get to downtown into my office so I can come in here, work, shoot content, Millionaire morning show and everything like that. It takes me on average about 55 minutes to get here. and 55 minutes to get back out to my family after I leave the office if I'm driving during the normal travel and commute times. Now, if I get up really, really early or I leave a little bit later, you know what I'm saying, I might be able to kind of get a little bit closer to that time. But I'm starting to notice that everybody is now being required to go into work. All of that work from home, either you got some kind of hybrid schedule or you're starting to be able to move over into that space. I'm one of the lucky ones in that a part of what it is that I negotiated is that I'll come into the office maybe twice a year, 2 or 3 times a year, depending on whether or not we got contractors that we got to come in and meet or so on and so forth. But in a general sense, I'm one of the lucky ones that still hold on to a corporate position. And one of the reasons why I'm still holding on to that position is because I got the leverage that I am as great as I am in that position and that I'm not unwilling to go back into the office. But I see so many people on the road now because everybody is required to go back into the office. Now, why are they required to go back into the office? Why are they incentivized to go back into the office? Well, A, you need this commercial real estate because it's down about 16% in average price, which is completely different than what home values are doing, right? So you need these commercial properties to continue to grow. And then also on top of that, that is the lifeblood for any city. You cannot be successful in growing any city or having any great community with everybody working from home. It's just a fact. You have to have people going outside. They got to go outside and spend money. They got to buy gas. They got to go to the grocery store. They have to make sure that they go to lunch. They can network. They go to the latest hotspot. All of that stuff, right? And so I think that it's a good thing for people to get out the house in order to continue to go out and be productive in society. But when you see environments where they don't incentivize people to do so, and remember, most of these situations that you guys have on your hand is not as a result of your own choices. It's as a result of a manufactured circumstance or situation in which they clear something out or they create this environment that's not conducive to where it is that you're supposed to be going as a community and growing your city and then creating jobs, because everything is interdependent on anything, right? We're going to go over to the strike in a little bit in a couple different stories, and I'm going to break down exactly how it's not just the UAW members that are being affected by what's going on with the strike. When Sean Fain decides to strike, all of the suppliers, all of the restaurant people, all of these people are being laid off now, and it's now extending its tentacles, but it's also going to blow up and help another industry, but we're going to get into that also. Let's continue over with this.
Starbucks says it is, quote, reevaluating our footprint, including adding and reopening some stores it had closed, including this one at Powell and O'Farrell at Union Square.
There's more variety here, so people have more to choose from.
Vasconiris is the former executive director of the Fillmore and West Portal Merchants Associations. He says business closures are never good, but that Starbucks is adjusting to changing consumer trends. The popularity of other types of beverage shops are likely a factor.
The emergence of the variety of boba shops that we see in the marketplace right now is a big reason for the closure of some of these mainstream coffee shops like Starbucks.
No, the main reason for the closure of the Starbucks, at least 7 locations over in San Francisco, is because San Francisco is trash. San Francisco is one of the trash cities with a trash mayor. Most of the businesses are closing. Everybody is leaving, and so they may leave a couple stores open here or there where they can direct traffic or where they have some form of foot traffic so that people can continue to get Starbucks so that they can continue to compete within the marketplace. But the reality is that brick and mortar stores, you have to be very, very careful what you open and what you decide to open. Even when we was doing to build a business, I put it on hold inside of the Patreon because it just wasn't making sense. It didn't make sense to put in $150,000 in order to build up a brick and mortar space when I didn't see the return on investment. And so we pivoted and we said, okay, well, let's put it on hold and let's wait. And let's figure out what we're going to do a year, 2 years from now so that it's actually conducive and I can show y'all what makes sense. Part of being a business owner or part of making a business decision is figuring out what not to do. And then you have this rash of crime that's breaking out all over San Francisco, California, and everything like that. I'm not just going to throw money at the wall just for the sake of throwing money at the wall. It has to make sense. And until we get there, we're going to make informed decisions. We're going to adjust based off of what's going on here. Even inside of the Patreon, I had a conversation with y'all and I broke down what my lease requirements were. or how to negotiate a good lease when you decide to open up a brick and mortar business. You want to do it on an escalating scale that gives because you guys have all of the leverage because there's so many opportunities and there's so many vacancies. You have the leverage, and what you can do is you can negotiate that contract to have a renewal instead of signing a 5-10-year contract, which gives the commercial building all of the leverage, or the landowner, the landlord, all of the leverage when it comes to keeping you in that space that's not conducive, because the business environments and the requirements are changing faster than they ever have before, right? So that's just keeping y'all up to date on what's going on in San Francisco. Let me read a couple of super chats, and then we're going to really deep dive into the show. Shout out to the people that's getting here late. Shout out to Lauren. What up? Yes, you are late, but I'm going to hold you accountable. Shout out to Martin Meck. Mark Meck says, good morning, Bag Chasers. Just got a raise today. Shout out to all of my people getting raises. I appreciate y'all for tapping in on the Millionaire Morning Show. Mom A. Danny says, hi, Anton. I would like to know if you still have slots for a coaching call, as I like your approach being extremely honest with people. I sent you a message on Patreon as I am a bag chaser. Thank you. I am going to be prioritizing. Thank you, Mom. I'm going to be prioritizing people that send a Patreon first for coaching calls versus people that just send me an email. Yes, I am. I am opening it up as I promised throughout the end of the year. So if you send me an email or you send me a message, I do have you. I am responding, and I got my people on it ASAP. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. John Doe is in the building. John says, last night when you said you wanted to rule the world, a lot of the chat called you greedy. I don't see it as greed. I see it as a level of ambition most can't comprehend. Well, most people are not going to be successful. And what they define as successful is just relative as a comparison to rest of the regular people. Listen, we are a special group of people, and we are not meant to be regular. We are a special group of people, and we are not meant to be regular. You're not meant to be normal. If you are out here, if you watching the Millionaire Morning Show right now, no matter what platform you're watching it on, if you restreaming it, realize this, that you are a special person that's getting special information, and you're supposed to be aligning yourself accordingly. If you still looking at yourself and comparing yourself against your peers, against your family, against normal everyday people, if you still call yourself solidly middle class and you think that makes sense for you, then we got some work to do, and I'm going to get you there. So shout out to you, John Doe. I appreciate you for continuing to hold me down. Bag for Bag is in the building, says, I think they use the word unhoused as a padded term, so it does not seem that bad. Then in all actuality, it really is. I believe that we need to just call stuff what it is, because that impact of saying this is what it is, I'm homeless, whatever, it then drives you. It drives you out of it, because either you're going to embrace it and you're going to come to the terms that, yo, you know what, I'm just toe up for the rest of my life, or you're going to say, I don't want you to call me that no more, and so I got to drive myself out of it. But to make people feel comfortable in their mediocrity or in their poorness is a sadder state of affairs than just, I don't like that PC stuff. Let's just call it what it is. Shout out to Julian, says, unhoused leave the unconscious thought that they don't have the resources to house them at the time. We're planning to give the government houses as soon as possible, like they care. That's a fact. I appreciate you, Jules. That's one of my guys. One of my dogs, without question, says, content creator Nate the Lawyer has made a video about Biden approving the continuation of building the wall. News source CNN. Yeah, we're going to address it. I know that y'all like to get y'all friends' channels popping and stuff like that. You ain't got to do it on the sly. Listen, just tell me who you want me to shout out. I'm an equal accountability opportunity giver. So shout out to Nate the Lawyer. I don't know if that's your friend or not, but shout out to him, and we'll be covering that shortly. And then last but not least, Cafe Es Bueno says, keep cooking, but is the like button broken? Just curious. You know what, man? We don't even address it no more. Either people going to hit the like or they not. Either people going to hit the like or they not. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Cafe. I appreciate you. Let's continue on with the show. So let's talk specifically about Biden building the border wall. Now, before we just deep dive into Biden just going ahead and building the border wall, because I think that this is all a planned approach. You're not going to sit here and tell me that you got the smartest people ever, greatest military ever, access to unlimited resources ever, all of that, right? We're not going to have that conversation and be disingenuous about it. We're going to have it in its complete and 100% honest form to better inform you of what's really happening. All right? So, considering that Biden is now pivoting and building the border wall, first, let me give you a little bit of insight of why they're then saying that they need to build the border wall. Let's go over to the airport in Chicago.
So more and more buses carrying more and more migrants continue to arrive in Chicago. Since May, 230 buses have arrived in the city. This week alone, that number is up to 23. Plus, there are more than 3,000 migrants right now awaiting spaces in shelters, and a lot of them are out at O'Hare.
That's where we find Casey Cronin. Casey, what is the situation there tonight?
Hey, Don and Scott. Well, city officials tell us that as of today, 764 migrants are staying here at O'Hare at the busing center.
What was the name of that movie with Tom Hanks in it, where he was living at the airport and y'all was like, oh man, that's wild. Oh man, that's wild. What was that movie with Tom Hanks where he was living at the airport? Y'all remember that movie? I don't remember what the name of that movie is. But now we got over 700 and something people in there in the Chicago airport, and they just living there. If y'all fly to Chicago, don't not expect to see a bunch of tents. It's called the Terminal. Shout out to Kevin Robinson Jr. The Terminal. When y'all fly to Chicago, just don't not expect to see a bunch of migrants living inside of the airport, got their tents, getting their monies from over at Brandon Johnson and having a good time.
Now, they continue to arrive earlier this afternoon with several hundred more arriving today. Now, city officials say they are not being bussed in. Rather, they are flying from Houston, San Antonio, New York, and other cities.
Now they flying them in. Shout out to the super chat. I'm definitely going to be reading that shortly. Now they flying them in. Listen, they're not just bussing them in anymore. They say, listen, we'll give you a first-class flight over there. First class flight straight to Chicago from Houston, San Antonio, El Paso, wherever it is, Austin, wherever you are, we gonna fly you over to Chicago. And you ain't even got to go nowhere. You could just stay there as soon as you land, all right?
As you can see behind me, space is running out and they are spilling out onto the sidewalk. Now, earlier this afternoon, a group of migrants was dropped off in a yellow school bus, but we're told they had already been staying here. One migrant tells us that about...
Wait. Y'all getting bus services? Y'all got the school bus taking y'all back and forth to school from the Chicago airport? Wow, that's news to me.
Every other day, they are taken to a local park district facility to shower. Meanwhile, we also visited Chicago Police District 1 earlier, located at 17th and State. There, with the help of our photographer who translated for us, we spoke with a migrant who ventured here from Venezuela. Like so many others, he's been staying in the lobby of that police station, but tells us that this morning, officials at the district moved all of the migrants outside, along with their belongings. When we got there, the doors were locked and we weren't allowed in. The migrant we spoke with told us that most of the women and children were picked up and taken to other shelters, but it's unclear where those who are left are supposed to go, and we are waiting on a clearer response from...
They got smartphones, devices, PlayStation portables, tablets, iPads, school. They take them to go take a shower. They said, you're not about to be stinking up the terminal over here. District 1 said, y'all, listen, y'all got to go outside now. Y'all got to go outside now. But guess what they not doing? They not cutting off the flights, and they not having the buses come in order to continue to bring them in. This is real.
From city officials and police. Now, that migrant says conditions here are actually worse than they were at home.
In Venezuela, we never lived on the streets. Now we are living on the street.
So what are you here for? Hey, listen. Homie said, look, bro, Chicago ain't what I thought it was. We was at home. I bet you he not going to make the migrant trek back to wherever it is that he came from in Venezuela, though. He said, listen, bro, over here is bad. We out here living on the streets. We getting this free food. We getting taken to take showers. We got these tents. We got these new iPhones. We got these Android devices. but it's bad over here compared to where we came from.
And we need to wait for some help.
Now, to date, there are about 9,800 migrants staying in shelters across the city. This comes as neighborhoods are grappling with the city's decision to pop up makeshift shelters at Park District facilities and vacant buildings.
So let's pivot. Now that you guys are up to date, because you know almost every day I like to keep you guys informed on what's going on with the migrant crisis. Let's pivot now, right? Because Biden. Now, you know what? I should pull up the footage of President Biden specifically saying that he was tasking Kamala Harris with addressing everything with regard to immigration and immigration reform and working with Congress and making sure that they send all of the resources that they needed in order to make sure that everything is taken care of. Don't worry. We definitely going to have that conversation maybe tomorrow when I allow for y'all to be able to cam up and come up here and have a conversation with me. That's what we do on Fridays. But Biden has decided to make a pivot. I wonder why.
Here at home, the Biden administration is now moving to cancel funding for
Now remember, before we get into the decision that Biden has recently made, this video is over 2 years old. I want to preface it by saying this video that I am about to show you right now, because again, we got to know where we came from in order to know where we're going. We know that they all living in Chicago. We know that Denver has now become a sanctuary city. We're going to address that over the next couple weeks. We know that my dog Eric Adams over there in New York is flying down to all of these migrant cities and saying, hey, man, what y'all still coming up here for, right? We know that this all happened. But this is over 2 years ago. This video is over 2 years ago. I'm going to be reading those super chats shortly. This is what Biden had decided to do as a result of going against what Trump said that he needed to do in order to make sure that our borders were secure. Let's go into it.
the border wall and return the funds to the Pentagon. ABC's White House correspondent Mary Alice Parks is on the North Lawn with that story. Mary Alice, good morning to you.
Talk to us, Mary.
Good morning to you, Dan. From day one, we've seen President Biden break away from President Trump's border policies. And now this latest move, the administration saying that they are formally returning billions of dollars back to the Department of Defense that had been diverted for border wall construction. And like you said, they're planning to cancel all existing construction contracts there on the border wall. The Trump administration only built about 80 miles of new wall where wall hadn't existed before. Some Republicans, as you can imagine, are blasting the Biden administration, saying that this will exacerbate the migrant crisis. But the White House...
So they warned them. We all knew that it was coming. Y'all fought them. Y'all said Orange Man bad. You said that it wasn't no border problem at all. Obama administration allegedly had deported and flew up out of here over 3 million migrants and immigrants that tried to cross over here illegally, and they enabled ISIS in order to be able to do so. And so on day one, when Biden got into office, according to what it is that we're looking at right here, he took billions and billions and billions of dollars, billions and billions and billions of dollars, and he diverted it away from securing your borders, and he gave it over into the Department of Defense, and he said, y'all do with this what y'all feel y'all need to do. He didn't give it to you in reparations. He didn't look out for you. He didn't build more housing. He didn't solve for the homelessness crisis. They took the money. They said, Trump, F your border. We don't really care about what you got going on. We opposed you the entire time that you was in office and afterwards, right? And then they diverted all of the billions of dollars and they returned it over to the Department of Defense. All right, let's continue.
The White House wrote in a statement that they inherited a broken immigration system that wasted billions of taxpayer dollars and neither kept the American people safe nor adhered to our values. Now, they say the money will instead go to daycares and schools on military bases. The big question.
So they took your border money and they sent it over to go to daycares and schools. Billions for daycares and schools over at the military, which was really Ukraine, but that's neither here nor there. They sent your money for daycares and schools, and then they sent billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars over to Ukraine. All right? No borders. Stop this. Take this money, divert it, send it back, reallocate it, but we don't need to be able to cover our borders. We good over here. This is what happened. This is a time capsule. Thank you, Jesus, for the internet, because we can always go back and look at what happened instead of letting people gaslight you into thinking that it was something different than what it really was.
Now, what will happen to the wall overall? The administration says they're still reviewing all of it. Eva?
Mary Alice Parks for us there. Thank you.
So they're reviewing, for all of these years, they've been reviewing what it is that they're going to do to solve for the border wall. They said, Trump, orange man bad. We don't like what you're doing. We're going to send this money somewhere else. But this morning, we got news. Okay. What is Biden doing today? What is his new policy as it relates to the border, especially considering that Kamala Harris was the person that was supposed to be tasked with handling our borders and immigration? What is he doing now?
All right, welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. I'm Giacomo Luca. Thanks for joining us as we come back here at 7:42 now on the East Coast, 4:42 over on the West Coast. We're learning in this developing story this morning that the Biden administration's waiving dozens of federal laws to build a border wall in South Texas. It's the first time the administration's used this type of executive power. Fox News' Gary Baumgarten has more on this.
It's a rare move for the Biden administration. The White House waiving 26 federal laws that will allow for border wall construction in South Texas.
You mean the same walls that y'all used in order to continue to fight the Trump administration and prevent him from being able to do it so that we wouldn't be dealing with this problem in the first place and adding more border agents and giving our sheriffs and border patrol all of the resources and the technology that they needed in order to continue to run things up? Wait a minute. Are you telling me that all of the things that y'all fought Trump on, honestly, let's keep it 100. All of the things that y'all fought him on is the very things that you're now diverting resources over and to solve for now. And you waived 26 federal laws. Yo, they just waived the laws. They said, listen, we ain't even gonna worry about it. How many you got? 26? We good. Waive 26 federal laws in order to make sure that they expedite the process in order to get this wall built. This is as of today.
The Department of Homeland Security announcing on Wednesday that Starr County is seeing a surge of migrants across the border illegally. This fiscal year alone, 245,000 people illegally crossed through the region.
That we can count.
Government data. In a statement, Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas said, quote, there is presently an acute and immediate need to...
No, don't use no acute words with me. Don't get cute with me. Don't get cute with me. Listen, talk to me like a third grader. Help me to understand exactly what's going on. There is presently an acute and immediate need to construct physical barriers and roads in the vicinity of the border of the United States of America. So you telling me in 2023, we still ain't secured our borders? Of all of the time that America has been in existence, according to when you say that you found it, you telling me that now we got an acute and immediate need to construct a physical barrier? No. Let me give it to you from a C student's perspective. What he meant to say was, yo, fam, we should have built this border wall a long time ago, bro. I don't know what y'all been doing. Y'all been playing with the people, playing with politics, doing what it is that you want to do when you want to do it, and the people the ones suffering from it. So let me go ahead and get this bag so we can go ahead and build this border. I'm trying to understand who the contractors are and who getting the contracts.
Construct physical barriers and roads in the vicinity of the border of the United States.
The president has done more to secure the border and to deal with this issue.
All of this comes as illegal entries remain high across the entire southern border. Customs and Border Protection data shows more than 2.8 million migrant encounters occurred this fiscal year.
We take a look at what's happening at our southern border. It is an absolute disaster down there.
Extending the border wall contradicts President Biden's statements in 2020 when he...
Say that again. Hold on. Let me rewind that last part.
Happening at our southern border. It is an absolute disaster down there.
Extending the border wall contradicts President Biden's statements in 2020 when he promised that, quote, not another foot of wall would be built under him.
He promised y'all. Now, this may be political word salad. This could be anything. I don't know. He promised the people that another foot, not another foot. You know how your mama used to say, you take another step into this house without taking your shoes off. Not another foot will be built of border wall in the United States of the Americas. Not one more foot is going to be built because we don't need to secure our borders. And all of y'all said, yeah, go Biden. We got to vote for him because if we don't vote for him, then we not black. Man, listen, bro, you know I'm still listening to and seeing. I did a little bit of a deep dive yesterday to see what all of your great leaders are. You know, your former rappers, the people that y'all used to look up to when y'all was younger and all of this stuff. Do y'all know that all of these people are still against what's best for us? They still got y'all running in the Victim Olympics. They still don't F with Trump. They still effing with Biden. They still having these conversations on how we need to get together and support black businesses. You know how outdated the mindset of most of these people are? It's amazing how y'all continue to look up to these people once y'all got grown. Yo, you know how they say don't meet your heroes? I met a lot of these suckers. As I've become more successful, I've met a lot of these suckers. I've talked to them. I've met them. I've looked them in the eye. I've had Twitter conversations with them. They be DMing me and all of this other type of stuff. You know what I be saying to myself? Man, I ain't impressed with you. I'm not impressed with these people. Facts. Yo, I happened to stumble upon a live stream yesterday of Master Ace. Now, I think that Master Ace, a lot of y'all may not be familiar with him, but he had this, he had a great album that I thought was absolutely awesome, and it was called the INC, Master Ace Incorporated, and it was the boom and the boom and the boom in your trunk. But he existed long before that, right? And so we used to bump it. But I stumbled across a live stream that he was doing yesterday, right? So he was doing his live stream, and it was like 300 people in there or whatever, and they was watching it. And he was describing all of the different things that he stood for, whatever. And I looked at who his co-hosts were, right? And his co-hosts used to, it just so happened to be Rod Digger. Y'all remember who Rod Digger was? For those of y'all that's not familiar, Rod Digger was a part of the Flip Mode Squad. She was a part of Busta Rhymes, you know, that whole thing, right? Rod Digger was on there co-hosting because they was asking questions. And Lord Jamar, right? Now, Lord Jamar asking these dumb questions. Why do y'all listen to Lord Jamar? A, because he's supposed to be blackity black. But then B, he got his second rise and his second wave from the fact that he used to appear on Vlad, who is very much the very person who y'all say is culture vultures in the first place. And y'all keep looking at these people like they anything more than exactly what they are. Man, listen, Brand, most of these dudes is broke. Most of these people is broke. They dusty, they broke, they want to be like us. They keep trying to chase what it is that we doing. They having conversations about stuff that's not even relevant anymore. They giving they 2 cents. We realizing how dumb they are. They not even wise. They don't even have anything to add a value in order to help nobody. They don't employ nobody. They don't put no money in nobody's pocket. Man, listen, bro, when I told y'all years ago, and I stand on it today, that black culture and the things that we celebrate the most is trash, I stand on that. A lot of these people that we grew up thinking that they was dope, garbage, man. Garbage, bro. They signed bad contracts. They complaining about getting their masters back that ain't even worth nothing. They was out there spitting the hot 16, and we thought that they were supposed to be able to give us life advice. They don't even know where they're going to live at tomorrow. And y'all still worshiping these people thinking that they dope? Man, listen. I might do a whole show bringing the hip-hop community to the front of the congregation tomorrow. That sounds like a great idea. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Those on a local level are also struggling to deal with the influx of asylum seekers. New York City's Mayor Eric Adams taking the journey to Latin America this week as he plans to discourage those seeking shelter from coming to New York.
Basically, it has given the false promise of what life is like of being a migrant and asylum seeker.
Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
So, all of your leaders continue to fail you. You guys continue to run in the Victim Olympics. Y'all still looking at all of these people that y'all think is y'all heroes that's not adding value into y'all life. Biden, meanwhile, is selling y'all out because he's not keeping his promise of not building another inch of border wall. Now he's then embracing the very policies that y'all went against as far as, and listen, I'm going to hold y'all accountable because you're not going to finesse me. You're not going to finesse me. You're not going to sit here and have a conversation with me and tell me that y'all didn't vote for Biden, that you didn't advocate for him. If I go back through y'all Instagram feeds, if I go back through y'all stories, if I go back through y'all Facebook profiles, I'ma see y'all saying Orange Man bad. Now all of a sudden that you got a migrant crisis, now that you're facing inflation, now that you're getting finessed with these UAW strikes and all of that, now you want to come back and talk about what it is that you're doing differently. Don't worry, we'll get there. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to continue with the show. Yeah, Anton ain't going to be the one that pulled no punches. We going to talk about it. Just because I'm not yelling right now don't mean that we not going to hold you accountable. A lot of y'all are the very ones that voted for, advocated for, stomped for, was out there protesting. You had your Black Lives Matter shirts on, and now you want to act like you wasn't nowhere to be found. Let me go back and find some pictures of you with your Black Lives Matter shirt on. When y'all was against me and y'all was talking about, oh, Anton, I can't believe he ain't on code with the rest of us. Now y'all want to come back over to the Millionaire Morning Show when you broke talking about, Anton, teach me how to get to the bag. No. Let's first hold you accountable for what you stood for when you was advocating against this very thing that you now advocating for. Please don't have revisionist history. Please don't have revisionist history. Let's all stand on what we stood on. Let's all stand on what we stood on. You had your Black Lives Matter's hands out. You had black gloves, motorcycle gloves. You ain't never rode a motorcycle in your life. You had your fists in the air like you was being oppressed. You was working from home. You was getting PPP and stimulus check money. You was out here shopping and having a good time. Y'all went out there and got them BBLs. You donated money to Black Lives Matter. Y'all gave money to Umar Johnson School. Now y'all want to come over here acting like you ain't know what was going on. And Anton, I've always been on the side. No, he got elected somehow. Half of you mother effers in here, y'all voted one way and y'all not going to sit here and have no conversation with me and try to finesse me. I know what happened. I know you was on Patrice Culler's side. Y'all said Candace Owens was no good. You never liked it the red. You wanted to make sure that you did away with it. If you didn't vote for Biden, then you wasn't on the blackity black side. All of y'all are Ebony K. Williams. You switched up. You switched up on us. Come on. Hold yourself accountable. A lot of what you see happening in New York when you voted for Eric Adams, he didn't get in there on his own. Brandon Johnson, Lori Lightfoot, they didn't get in there on their own. When I told y'all about what was going on and who you should vote for and that the Safety Act was coming and the migrant crisis is happening and black culture is trash, now you want to sit here and act like you didn't know what was going on. You didn't know? You confused? You don't understand what's happening? Let me bring you to the front of the congregation and help you to understand. You messed up. You messed up. Please don't be a modern woman on me. Don't switch up. Don't switch up. Keep that same, and hold on. Keep that same energy all the way across the board. Remember when y'all said that Boyce Watkins was the truth? When Jay Morrison was going on tour through y'all hoods, teaching y'all how to buy the block back. Remember when you was buying the block back? All of the rappers was buying the block back. Now you forgot about that part, right? Let me remind you. I told y'all 3-4 years ago we was going to be having this conversation today. 3-4 years ago we was going to be having this conversation today. Now all of a sudden you don't know what's going on. Your friends is striking. You laid off. Can't afford your house. I told you, I said inflation is coming. Y'all voting wrong. Y'all don't understand y'all policies. You need to understand what's going on a local level. Why aren't more people participating in the election process? Why don't you understand who's a part of the candidacy? Why don't you understand the different policies? Why you ain't read that? Why you ain't stumping for this? Why are you out there protesting? I thought they told you 6 feet, no check. Why you over here doing this? Why you doing that? Y'all said, Anton, I can't believe you missing it. Yeah. Buy the block back. With what money? Now you got a $1,600 car note because you bought a Dodge Challenger and a Hellcat. Huh? Remember when you was holding me accountable? Keep that same energy. I told you. I warned you. I said that we was going to be having this conversation. No, Anton, you don't know what you're talking about. You just a coon. Remember you kept putting the coon emoji on there with the eyes? Huh? Remember that? Remember when you kept calling me Uncle Tom? Didn't even know what Uncle Tom stood for? Huh? Remember that? Uncle Tom was the hero. Maybe I'm just way ahead of my time. When I told y'all that all of these blackity blacks was finessing y'all and they weren't going to do anything for you. You gave money to Haiti. All of y'all went and put money in Disney's pocket and y'all went to go see Wakanda because they finally acknowledging our greatness. We gonna make sure that we get T'Challa to the top of the Marvel Mountain. And Disney was like, let me tell you what Disney was like. Yeah, we finally got the black community now. Let's make it rain. We gonna give them T'Challa. We gonna give them some representation in the black movies. Let's make it rain. Let's throw $5 at them. Boop. Throw them another $5. Boop. Throw them another $5. Oh, snaps. We got a blackity black over there. Give Patrice Cullors and Black Lives Matters a 20. Remember when all of these companies went woke and y'all said, we stand with these companies because they are going to give us equity and inclusion. And as soon as layoffs came, you was the first one to go. Sold your soul. Sold your dignity. Let them finesse you. Every last one of y'all had on a bootleg Black Lives Matter shirt on. I remember. I'm going to y'all Facebook profiles and I'm going to pull it up. Every last one of y'all said, Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Then nobody was on Black Lives Matter no more after they spent $73 million. Then they was sitting inside of a mansion drinking mocktails, talking about how they had conquered the world. We warned you. We said, listen, these women are part of the alphabet community. They don't even believe in nothing that they doing. They're not even a part of the community. They gonna be finessing y'all. Huh? Oh, you forgot. Oh, this is just Anton just holding us. He always want to be the dead horse. He always want to bring up old stuff. Yeah, I remembered it. I documented it. I wrote it in my notes in my iPhone, and I made sure that I saved it to the iCloud. I did. Y'all been getting finessed since she was born. Vote or die. 106 in Park. They just now arrested the killer of Tupac, and y'all still think that that's relevant. Man, I don't care nothing about who killed Tupac. What do I care? What is that? How is that helping you guys today? How is that going to put more money in your pocket? You got all of these old rappers that got gray in their beard talking about, I knew it was Tupac. I knew it was Keefy D. Keefy D. Puffy was over there telling y'all 15 years ago, yeah, man, I got this Ciroc right here. This is the drink of champions. Make sure that you buy black. Buy black. People was so mad at me on that Real Life Street Stars interview that I said that Puffy finessed y'all and told y'all that he had equity in Ciroc as though he was going to give you a piece of it, right? That Puff said he had equity in Ciroc, and then he came back to the front of the congregation and he was like, I want to fight for equity. We going to sue them. And now y'all want to sit here and get mad at me. I can't believe. Look, this is what they saying in the comments. Puffy got more money than you, Anton. Maybe true. For now. Right now he does. But guess what? Nobody owns me. Nobody can hold me accountable because I'm my own man. You don't own me. I don't owe you $1. I don't have one piece of financing. I don't have a house that's not in my company's name, that's not in my trust's name. I am 100% self-financed. Nobody owns me. That's why I say what I really think and I have these conversations in truth. Now, I'm open to the possibility that I'm wrong, but I'm going to need y'all to come back to the front of the congregation. They've been selling y'all poison in y'all communities. They've been holding y'all accountable. They've been selling you liquor. Pastor Cavassier. Give it to me now, Pastor Cavassier. How come they can't give you nothing but weed and liquor? They ain't gave you no information on how it is that you can level up. The church, the rappers, the blackity blacks, they ain't doing nothing but asking you for donations and then giving you weed and liquor. They don't sell you nothing but music, which is literally the devil's instrument to keep you in trance to continue to do the stuff that you want to do. They gave you weed. They gave you liquor. Every single person that you know that is an influencer is selling you liquor. Douce, Ace of Spades, Ciroc, Deleon, Tequila, Casam, whatever it is. What? They selling you poison and you eat it up. They made money. They got rich off of selling you poison. And you think that that's cool. They kept you in the ghetto. They sold you poison. They made money off y'all killing each other. They profited off of the idea that you now are part of the prison industrial complex. They told you that you was cool and you was keeping it real because you wouldn't tell on each other. You was just a citizen. You wasn't even a person that was committing crimes. They gave you the horrible idea of how it was that you were supposed to look at women and how we were supposed to treat men and women in our communities. First, it was the men. The men and all of them told you that bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. Lick on these nuts and suck the dick. They told you, hey, it ain't no fun. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. They told y'all that. Guess who's back in the mother effing house? What a bet for your mother effing mouth. Bees recognize and niggas do too. What you gonna do? You really don't know. So I'd advise you not to trust that hoe. Silly of me. Come on, man. Let's talk about it. They indoctrinated us. They gave us the tunes that was going to stick with us for the rest of our lives. So now when we see people, we then devalue them and they look just like us. And you fell for the okie doke. And now you want to sit here and have a conversation with me about what it is that I'm saying. Everything that they gave you, you call it a classic. This is a certified classic. This poison, certified classic. Throw it in the greatest. 5 mics and a source and a double XL. Huh? And now the women is doing it now, and now we mad at them. Her booty hole brown, and now you pissed at her. Maybe it's the white people that did it to us. I'm the bad guy? No. All of these rappers and these former hip hop heads, you want it, Mike Bags and all of these people, you want to talk. You want to call me out of my name. You want to call me and say that I'm not from here. You want to call me a Nigerian and all of this other type of stuff. Do y'all really want to go to war or do you want to go to war? Because I got time today. Listen, by the time that I get done, if you incentivize me to do so, I'm going to tear a hole in the entire industry. I'm going to rip you to shreds. I'm going to tear you up and then I'm going to rip you back down and I'm going to destroy everything that you ever existed for. I have time to destroy the very thing that is destroying our culture and our community, but we continue to embrace it because it sounds good to our ears. Please say something out of line because I have time for every last one of y'all. Every last one of y'all. I am ready. I've been ready. And so I've been looking for somebody to say something out of line. I've been looking for somebody to say something out of line. I will come for you, and I will not let up until you are destroyed and everything that you ever stood for is in shambles, because you need to be held accountable for the stuff that you sold us in the first place. I know you and your friends is watching. Walk away. This is your final warning. Walk away. All you wannabe rappers that never made it and the ones that did make it, walk away. Walk away. This is your final warning, but I know that your ego is not going to let you, but this ain't no battle rap. This ain't no battle on wax. This is going to be a battle for your life. I promise you. And it ain't nothing you can do to stop me. This is going to be a battle for your life. Selling the community poison and then you calling me crazy? I didn't know I was going to go there. I just had to bring the people back to the front of the congregation. Let me read the super chats. We're going to get there. Dustmaster is in the building, says, oh, snap. Your best friend is here now. Shout out to Dustmaster. I appreciate you. I don't care nothing about these people. These people ain't never been my friends. I don't even want to be friends. Terrell Rowe says, sir, where do I start? Over here in the UK and I need help. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Shout out to you. We got bigger fish to fry out here in these streets. Josh, the roofer, says, almost forgot to hit the like button. Glad y'all reminded me. Every one of Anton videos deserved that. Hit a like button with all of his knowledge. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, Josh. Running it up out there. Black Silverchair says, they have eventually imported enough immigrants to buffer the labor shortage. I agree with that. So it is time to shut it down. It was all part of the plan. I do. I think that is exactly what happened. Anastasio Rodriguez says, just read that a B1 visa holder will be able to give a job now, changed in March 2023. If y'all don't think that all of this stuff is manufactured, then y'all are really, really missing it. Really, really missing it. Nikolai Smith says, what if this is a move to unify the Americas, North and South America, and furthering hegemony? I don't even know what that means. Hegemony? Is that what you're saying? You got to give me some insight on what that means. Y'all keep using all of these multiple syllable words. Anton is a C student out here in these streets. But shout out to you for the 10 ball. EJ Uno says, I'm like you. I want to see them desperate. They got electronics, fashionable clothes, and dyed hair. And feeling good about it and going to the barbershop afterwards. I wonder if they're getting allowance too. The gentleman JT says, what up, Anton? I sent 3 emails regarding second coaching call. Still don't answer. What is a land guru? I don't know what a land guru is. I own a lot of land, but I'm certainly not a land guru. I'm just trying to figure it out just like you. But we got your emails. The gentleman JT, I got you, big dog. I promise you I got you. We gonna get to it, my friend. Let's see what else we got going on here. The Lucid Experience says, but when Trump said he wanted a wall, I agree. Shout out to you, my friend. Chris Moore is in the building. Chris Moore says, doing a fantastic job on teaching that truth. Information is power. Good job, truth teller. I appreciate you. Trey D says, all rappers are toxic waste. Not all. Not all. I'm not going to put them all in the same category. Not all. And my problem is not even necessarily that they did it. My problem is the fact that we don't want to take accountability for what they did. That's my problem. All right. Shout out to Ash. Ash says, AD, love you, but on the real, I never voted for Obama or Biden. Never. I agree with your analysis. To be honest, I do not follow black culture since 30 years ago. Black culture has been trashed for decades. Let me bring myself to the front of the congregation. I did vote for Obama the first time that he was in office. I absolutely did. 100%. Absolutely. I fell for the okie doke. I was 26 years old. I did vote for Obama. I voted for Obama. See how easy that is for me to bring myself to the front of the congregation and say that I did it and I made a mistake and I shouldn't have did it. Now that I have better information, I should have made a more informed decision. See how easy it is for me to look back in hindsight and say, yeah, I voted for Obama in 2008. Probably was the bad decision. Probably was a bad decision. I voted for him. Absolutely, I did vote for him in 2008. 100%. I am bringing myself to the front of the congregation and saying that I voted for him. Was it a mistake? Absolutely. Should I have been a lot more informed, and did I have the foresight to see what was going to happen today? I didn't, but I got it today. I absolutely did. 100%. I voted for him. Zero. Shout out to Zero in the building. Zero says, just want to send a small thank you for all of what you do. Since becoming one of the bag chasers, I'll be paying off my car by the end of the year and working on paying off my student loans. Shout out to the bag chasers. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Tommy Arful says, feet to the fire, Mr. Daniels. I'm with you. You are not too early. You right on time. Yep. Absolutely. I appreciate you, my friend. Couple more. Jay Hunter Lee is in the building, says, Brother AD, our people are so easy to finesse from pandering, and it's good to see you, by the way, and let me know when you're back in Tampa so I can invite you to the Corona Cigar Lounge. Shout out to Jay Hunter Lee. I appreciate you, my friend, for rocking out with me and inviting me over to the Cigar Lounge. Zero says, I also want to say the Wednesday night live stream put a lot of things in perspective on how I look at my wife going forward. Make sure y'all go and reread that. Make sure y'all go and rewatch that. Let me give a shout out to my dog. Marcus Wiley just hit me up. Shout out to Marcus Wiley. I'm gonna holler at you in a minute, Marcus. Let me give a shout out to a couple of people on Cash App. Cash App, Lemare Flanagan sent the 40 ball. Shout out to Lemare Flanagan. Also, shout out to my dog, Mike That Dude. And shout out to everybody that's holding me down on Cash App and the Super Chats. Absolutely, you guys are absolutely awesome. And without you, I wouldn't be able to do this. Let's move over into the show. We got a couple more things that we want to go over. Actually, one of the things I'm going to pivot for, and I'm going to save that for a completely different conversation, right? Gosh. I'm going to save the Ben Shapiro one for tomorrow. I want to get to these strikes, right? I want to get to these strikes because we got Kaiser, the UAW, and Waffle House is striking. Kaiser, the UAW, and Waffle House is striking. Let's get into it, y'all. I'm going to be reading these super chats shortly. Thank you for supporting the platform. I love you guys. Let's get into these strikes across the United States of America.
Hey, Kaiser, you get hot? We can see your pretty side.
This morning, a big union is turning up the heat on Kaiser Permanente, the country's largest not-for-profit healthcare provider. Tens of thousands of workers walking off the job for 3 days as contract talks stall. From Virginia,
these people got into healthcare because they wanted to take care of patients, and they're just stretched too thin.
To Denver,
everybody's getting depressed. Everybody's quitting because they can't handle it. You know, it's just a lot of work.
Actually, we're going to tap into the Ben Shapiro conversation last. I'm going to pivot one other story that I was going to do. So we just going to tackle these strikes real quick, and then we're going to pivot into the Ben Shapiro conversation tomorrow. Pivot into a different conversation tomorrow for one of the things that I'm going to save.
No. We are here because they have been dealing with a short staffing crisis caused by Kaiser executives for months, if not years.
On strike, pharmacists, optometrists, vocational nurses, x-ray and lab technicians demanding more pay to offset inflation and more staff.
So let's back that up for a minute. On strike are pharmacists, optometrists,
x-ray and
vocational nurses, and x-ray and lab technicians. Somebody said they heard Blue Cross Blue Shield is on strike too. Blue Cross Blue Shield is here in Michigan. Pharmacists, optometrists, vocational nurses, x-ray and lab technicians, all of these people. Actually, I heard that it's like over 75,000 people from Kaiser that's on a 3-day strike because they want more money.
Lab technicians demanding more pay to offset inflation and more staff.
So there's this thing that's happening all across America. Is this a Me Too movement? Remember when all of the women was accusing men from back in the day of doing stuff, but we had no evidence to actually substantiate that it actually happened. So we just went by their word and we was convicting people based off of the court of public opinion. That's similar to what's happening right now. People are striking all across America because they're in a Me Too movement. You know what the funniest thing about this whole thing is? I didn't see anybody striking during the pandemic. Everybody was happy. Everybody was happy. Everybody was in a good space. They was working from home. They was playing video games. They couldn't get to their, you know what I'm saying? They couldn't get to their computer desk in time in order to run up the bag and get to their meeting. And they was waking up with sleep in their eyes. And we seen people getting fired and laid off because one guy couldn't wait to get off the meeting. He thought he closed out the camera and he was going over there to get his lotion so he can rub one out. Remember all of that was happening? Now everybody back to work and everybody trying to strike at the same time.
They say Kaiser patients, 13 million of them, can sometimes wait months for a primary care appointment and hours waiting in an ER.
People are just plain worn out. COVID was a nightmare for 3 years ago, and we're still not done.
You know what I seen 3 years ago, 2 years ago? Nurses was over here making TikToks. They had videos on the internet about how much money they was getting and how many bags that they was getting. They said that they was going to live in places for free, traveling nurses. They was buying whole cars, cash, and all of that. Everybody was balling just a second ago. Now everybody burnt out, and they want more money.
Most doctors and RNs are not on strike.
We're committed to addressing the
Getting
staffing
that bag.
crisis, but we're equally committed to addressing the affordability crisis, and that's the issue that's at the table.
Kaiser says hospitals and ERs will remain open during the strike, but some elective procedures may be postponed.
It was just heartbreaking to get the news yesterday that it's been canceled when it was already rescheduled once.
Tiffany Young's 17-month-old son, Caden, was supposed to have tubes placed in his ears today to relieve chronic ear infections and severe pain. Now that's been postponed until December.
He's just in pain, and it's horrible to see him. And I know like it's a minor surgery, but to a parent and seeing your baby hit his ears and crying, it's heartbreaking.
You want this whole thing to get resolved. So this is a 3-day strike, Tom. Yeah. So is there any chance we may see another wave of walkouts if they don't get to a deal soon?
I think so. I mean, listen, the union is saying that this 3-day strike is really a demonstration of strength to show Kaiser that the union is, in fact, united. And they say if they don't reach an agreement by sometime in November, they could call a longer strike, potentially 10 days, that would really have an effect as well on patients and staff and the hospitals.
Yeah.
So basically, they holding the company hostage for whatever the reason is. The union, in order to make sure that they acknowledge the fact that they want more money and they want more staff to continue to push and help them be able to service patients better. Okay, cool. I'm with you. Let's see what happens. Let's play it out from there. Let's get more information before we make an informed decision. Let's pivot for a minute, right? Let's pivot. So you had Kaiser, and then we all familiar with what's going on with the UAW, right? UAW, Ford is now rolling out more layoffs because they're saying that it's the UAW's fault. We don't have parts. We can't supply. General Motors is digging in. They then opened up a line of credit. They said, all right, cool. We got a line of credit just in case we start to dig in. And then more importantly, they got sometimes a 90 to 150-day supply of cars that they can sell on the company lots because they were prepared for this, right? But one of the things that I wanted to show y'all is the sentiment of the people. Because it's very easy to say that you should or stand a line or all of this other type of stuff, right? But when you start to approach the 20-day mark, when you start to approach that 1 month mark, when you start to approach those 30 days, and you only got that strike pay, it started to get a little bit of dicey out here. Let's see what the sentiment of the people that's striking over at the UAW front line is doing.
With the negotiations still ongoing and the strikers now getting only strike pay, many of them telling WTOL 11 that they might be looking for a second job to pay the...
Not a second job. Not the second one. Hold on. Let's have it.
Bills.
Christy Gerlett hit the picket line again to talk to workers today. Christy, what are they telling you?
Yes, Melissa, Jeff, they said they need that second job. In fact, some people were already working a second job before the strike even happened just to make ends meet. Take a listen to their stories.
Michael Mahoney has been working at the Toledo Assembly Complex for more than 15 years. With 3 teenagers at home and now receiving only $500 a week from strike pay, he's been vigorously looking for a side job.
I have an interview at 3:30 today.
Hey, homie said I got an interview at 3:30 today. Soon as I leave this picket line, because I got to be able to get my strike pay, I need this bag. I got 3 teenagers at home. I've been having me a lot of sex, and I got to figure out how to make these ends meet because it's a little dicey out here.
And I might have one at the end of the week.
Oh, so you have multiple interviews this week?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'm looking hard. Yes.
Roxanne Stedfeld is already working another job through DoorDash, but now she's looking for a second job.
DoorDash, you know, it's hit or miss with DoorDash when you get paid with them. So I want something more stable, something that I know what I got coming in.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, and somebody educate me, because I know we got a lot of UAW members in here and they're more educated about this than I am. Somebody give me some insight. When you go get a second job, doesn't that then go against what you're supposed to be getting from a strike pay perspective? I'm looking forward to seeing this woman with her UAW strong shirt delivering my DoorDash this afternoon. As a matter of fact, let me get me some DoorDash. What we ordering today? Detroit 75 Kitchen? Huh? What we doing today? What kind of DoorDash we got today, ladies and gentlemen? What we rocking with? I want my DoorDash hot. And do not be late. Do not be late. I have never given anything less than a 5-star review to my driver, but please do not be late with my DoorDash. Let's see what's going on. See, it's getting tight out here. See, everybody got the you know what I'm saying, moving with the speed of an Olympic sprinter when they first get it started, but then when they didn't know it was going to be going for 20 days, they're like, wait a minute, we 3 weeks in. I'm starting to miss a couple of paychecks. I'm starting to miss a paycheck. It's getting tough out here. Single mamas. I see that man in the back with them Crocs on and them you know what I'm saying, them shorts on with that cut off sleeve t-shirt.
Joshua Bondi has 4 kids. His youngest is just 8 months old. He posted on Facebook offering.
So he's still having sex, huh? He's still having sex. He got 4 kids and he got an 8-month-old.
His services to power wash people's homes.
With everything going on right now, the family's taking a big hit and everything, so we're trying to just pull in a little extra money to keep afloat while with the big 3, hopefully.
Nope, I'm on strike too. I'm on strike just like you on strike. I don't need no services. I don't need no power washing. I don't need no DoorDash. As a matter of fact, I don't even think I'm about to order no DoorDash because I'm on strike like you on strike. And so since you on strike, I'm on strike because I got to make sure that I'm protecting myself too. You know what I'm saying? Look. Don't ask to be power washing nothing. You gotta own this. You gotta own this. If you really believe, listen, if y'all really believe in what y'all doing, you're gonna have to go 100% in. You gotta go all in. You got to go all in. If this is what you standing for, then be willing to lose your home for it. You ain't willing to lose your car? You ain't willing to forego man's tuition? What about that trip that you got planned for the Christmas? Hey, had that conversation. Hey, Christmas is going to be a little bit tight this year, ladies and gentlemen. Christmas is going to be a little bit tight this year. We ain't got it. Me and mama ain't got it. And we just had a newborn, and we got 4 kids. Even though they didn't tell us we had to have another kid, y'all was still having kids even though you felt like you couldn't survive. Own it. Go all the way in. All the way in. Get to it.
Caves in, gives us what we're looking for.
Bondi has had his side business prior to the strike because he still needed the extra cash with his normal pay.
With the bigger family, it just takes a lot more to keep up to par where we need to be.
So as the negotiations between the UAW and the Big 3 continue, the strikers on the line say they're going to do the best they can to get by.
I shouldn't have to jiggle stuff around to make my bills. I should be able to work one job and be able to pay my bills and live comfortably.
Nobody told y'all to have kids, extra kids. Nobody told y'all to, listen. I'm with it. I'm 100% with y'all. I support my UAW members, especially ones that's a part of the Millionaire Morning Show. I support y'all. I roll with y'all. I grind with y'all. I hustle with y'all. I believe in y'all cause. But at the same time, it's tough for all of us out here. I can't afford for no I can't swing it. I can't be out here giving you my money because what if I decide to strike on my job? I got to prepare myself for a strike just in case I want to strike some striking. You know what I'm saying? Look, so this is what's happening at the UAW. Kaiser is over there. They doing their thing. And then it's infecting everybody, even Waffle House. The people at Waffle House want $25 an hour. Some locations $30, depending on location, depending on if they're on the West Coast or not. Listen, when I seen Waffle House say we want $25 an hour, I said, y'all just all part of the Me Too movement, huh? Listen, I'm not making this up. Hear it out of their own mouths.
All right, $25 an hour to work at Waffle House and serve waffles and grits and eggs. That's what some employees want.
And other demands include 24/7 security, an end to meal deductions. They want free food while they're on the job. And there have been protests in Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina. But Waffle House says that relatively few of
Oh, man. Everybody striking. I'm sorry. No. We not gonna do that. Y'all not gonna sit here and try to devalue the value that they have because they should be able to get a working wage, a living wage. They should only have to work one job. What makes the UAW any better than the Waffle House employees? What makes Kaiser any better than the UAW? We should have it standard across the board. No, don't look at them. Don't look down on them and say, no, just because you making waffles, they feeding the American people. Why shouldn't they have job security and cost of living expenses go up and free food? Why shouldn't they be able to afford their food and get free food along with it? Don't sit here and hold them accountable and look down on them. So y'all want us to stand with y'all, but y'all don't want. I can't even hold it in. Oh, man. No, don't look down on Waffle House. Don't look down on the Waffle House people. We need them too.
those individuals seen protesting are actual employees of theirs.
They're bad actors.
I guess.
Waffle House bad actors.
Hey, shout out to the black lady that's calling it out. The black lady on there says, man, I'm not going for this nonsense.
Our press reporter Lydia Moynihan joins us now. Whoever's protesting, they really do want free food.
Yeah, what a conspiracy, though. I don't know where they would get these people in. You're busing people in to protest on your behalf. I've got to imagine, though, if you were a worker and you're looking at the major concessions that some of these other unions like UPS, like the Writers Union, have been able to extract, you got to think it's worth a shot. And it's interesting, obviously, the wages that they're requesting are a pretty steep increase from what a lot of people are making now. Right now, the highest person there is making about $17. That's for their rock star chefs.
$17 an hour for the Waffle House people. That's wild. I'm having a hard time. Honestly, I'm having a hard time. I got 15, 5, 10, 15, 16. I got $16 right here. Real talk. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for flipping some eggs, fam.
But it is interesting that they're basically requesting something we talk a lot about on the show, which is crime. They want 24-hour surveillance and security, and it's interesting to see how that's sort of impacting every part of the economy.
I think a lot of people also probably surprised to hear that they just can't get hash browns for free while they're on the job, you know, on their morning shift.
A little side of biscuits and gravy for real.
I mean, are you guys Waffle House fans?
I mean, I lived off of it. That and Taco Cabana when I lived in Fort Worth, Texas.
I went to a pancake house here, not Waffle House. But yeah, I love Waffle House.
Yeah, shout out to the Pancake House. Shout out to O-Hop. A lot of y'all not familiar with O-Hop. Pancake House slap. She probably talking about the international hop, IHOP. O-Hop is where it is. A lot of y'all not familiar with O-Hop. If you over there in Dallas, you over here in Michigan, Original Pancake House, 3 locations. Hey, I'm not going to say that too much because they're not paying me for this. But shout out to O-Hop.
The Dallas-Fort Worth area you never went?
No, but I just went to the pancake house. I'm all for breakfast,
Original
gravy.
Pancake House is amazing.
Bring it on. But like
Original Pancake House slap. Shout out to everybody that got a Big Apple. A lot of y'all not familiar with it. This may not be in your city, but if you have never visited an Original Pancake House, don't talk to me about no IHOP. Don't talk to me about no Waffle House. You missing out, fam.
Get free food, Lydia. Come on.
You know what? You make a great point. I think they might play this clip in some of the union meetings. It's a pretty reasonable request. If you're making all this food, that you should have some access to it.
I think it's fair.
$25 an hour is significant. California actually just passed a law that will eventually put a $20 wage for fast food workers in California.
Okay, so wait. I wasn't familiar with this. California just recently passed a law that is giving a minimum of $20 an hour to workers, fast food workers? Is that true? That can't be right. No way. Let me replay that one more time.
California actually just passed a law that will eventually put a $20 wage for fast food workers in California.
Do you got a tip too? Because every time that I go into a space, they always hit me with the, you got to decline the tip part, or they got a tip jar somewhere. So you telling me that these people going to be making $20 an hour? $20 an hour to flip burgers? Come on, fam. No way. I don't believe it. No way, no how, impossible. $20 an hour? No wonder they shutting all of y'all stuff down. Listen, you know what's going to happen? First, they're going to pass that cost over to the consumer. You're still not going to be able to live because inflation is going to go up even more. And then the last thing that's going to happen is that companies are going to continue to innovate. When you drive up to the drive-thru, it's going to be AI taking your order. When you go into the inside, ain't going to be no people in there. It's going to be all kiosks. And it's going to be one person running everything inside of that place. It's going to be one person running everything inside of that place. I'm telling you. People just innovated themselves right over, you know what I'm saying? And here's the other part about it. Migrants is going to be working. Migrants is now working too. Yep. $20 an hour.
That hasn't been implemented yet, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
I don't think Waffle House
sustainable.
Workers, no, they're not going to get 25. You know why? Because the cost of living in the places where you go to Waffle House ain't that high.
Yeah.
If they ain't making $25 in California, they ain't going to make it in Louisiana or Mississippi.
Another thing we talk about, too, is all of the artificial intelligence and the robots that are coming in as well. So that's happening at the same time.
Yeah. And automation.
Exactly. As well.
Listen, y'all just going to innovate yourselves and protest yourselves right on out of a job. That's what's going to happen with these automakers. That's what's going to happen with the automakers. I'm going to save one of the stories for tomorrow because I went off on a little bit of a rant. But I do have one more thing that I want to share with you guys. But before I do, let me go ahead and read some of these super chats. Wealth Building Journey is in the building. Says hegemony. Okay, I got you. Hegemony, political, economic, and military dominance of one nation state over nearby states, can be regional or global. Y'all gonna have me doing some research. Shout out to you for giving me with that 4 5-syllable words. Jamal Fowler says, peace, Anton. Do you have any opinion of the so-called Illuminati? Not any different than I have an opinion of a sorority or fraternity or Crips and Bloods or anything else. I don't even know if it's real or not. I can't speak on something that I'm not necessarily familiar with. So no, I don't necessarily have an opinion. I like to get actual real facts and real stats in order to make an informed decision. Elo in the building says they better cut it out or them girls and guys are going to be saying, I'm in a bind, Nate. They already in a bind. You know what you can do? You know what you can get from a Waffle House, sir? Let me be quiet. Bag for Bag says you all are going to steal. Is that style? Is you meant to say style? Y'all weighing to being unhoused. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Bag for Bag in the building. Tony Williams, my guy. What up, Tone in the building? Says I voted for Obama, and even in hindsight, I don't know if I could have voted for the Maverick McCain. He gives me Republican Biden vibes. For real. And you might want to check out Loom versus Umar debate. Fire. Loom versus Umar? Let me put that on the list. Put that in my phone. Might have to check that out for tomorrow. Let's see. Loom versus Umar. I'll check that out. Thank you, my friend, and thanks for keeping me up to date. I appreciate you, Tony. And thanks for pulling into the show last night. Tony was dope. 187 got a couple super chats, says the Victim Olympics is real. I agree with you 100%. He also says there is a new demon and its name is called entitlement. I agree with you. Classy Beats is in the building, says the chicks on the news broadcast was cooking those Waffle House employees. Pun intended. Shout out to my dog Classy Beats. Make sure y'all subscribe to his channel. Jay the Bull Hauler is in the building. Shout out to Jay the Bull Hauler. I appreciate you for dropping that in the collection plate. And then my dog Highly Offensive says the migrants going to be 5 deep in a household, stacking their money and splitting rent 5 ways, which is exactly what I would be doing too. Shout out to the migrants that's out here getting to that bag. One more thing that I want to share with you guys. We're going to go ahead and get to the subject of the show, Red Pill. So, apparently Ben Shapiro did a video about Red Pill, right? Now, for those of you that are not familiar, Red Pill is nothing more than having the wool lifted from your eyes, from having the reality actually being shown to you of what it is that you face. And now Red Pill is usually applied to relationships, but in reality, Red Pill is supposed to be applicable to anything. When you get to see and you get to explore on a Millionaire Morning Show about what's really going on with the migrant crisis, when you get to see the lies that's being told to you by these politicians, when you get to understand how money really works so that you're no longer in a rat race, when you get to understand the nature of relationships and how it is that you can leverage them in order to become more successful, when you understand the nature of people in general, that is all called Red Pill. Adopted largely from the movie The Matrix, in which they said, do you want to take the red pill and see how deep the rabbit hole goes, or do you want to take the blue pill and go back to Wonderland, right? So the red pill a lot of times give you that harsh reality that then highlights what you really facing as a society versus these Disney movies and this illusion that's been sold to you your entire life from people that actually don't have your best interests at heart, right? I would even argue to the point to where the people that's controlling and pulling all of the strings are pulling them on, they red pill and they actually pull them on a blue pill people in order to keep them slaves. The middle class are the most blue pilled people out here today, right? But Ben Shapiro had some sharp criticisms for people. And he said, listen, don't take this particular red pill. Let's explore what it is. A lot of people sent me this video, and he spoke to Pearl and Andrew Tate, apparently, because they are the ones that was on the cover photo of his video. But let's play it a little bit. I might have to skip through it because I want to get to his talking points and not necessarily just look at whatever it is that he's referencing. Let's play it a little bit and see what he's saying.
Well, folks, there's something called the Red Pill movement. It's sort of a far-right movement that focuses in on saying the unsayable. And now many of the red-pilled have taken the position that it's bad for men to get married. a fascinating debate has broken out about the value of marriage. It's really interesting. So there are a bunch of people on the so-called red-pilled right who have now suggested that marriage is bad for men, that men should not get married. Now, the case that they're making is not the liberal feminist case that basically men are useless and terrible and a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle or anything like that. The case that they are making is that the stakes of marriage have been changed by things like no-fault divorce, custody arrangements, the child support payments and all the rest, spousal support, that basically the legal regimen has made it not a bargain for men to get married. Now, I agree with the critique of all of those policies. I think no-fault divorce is a disaster area. I think that the child custody arrangements that basically always go to mom no matter what, that is a serious problem. When you shift...
Somebody said, Anton, do you like Ben Shapiro? I do like Ben Shapiro. But like anybody and anything, I don't always agree with every single thing that they say. I don't even agree 100% with what it is that my mother was saying when I was growing up, right? So I do largely agree with Ben Shapiro on most of his talking points, but I have not reviewed this video yet, so I'm trying to understand exactly what's going on.
The incentive structure, there's a reason why the majority of divorces, the vast majority of divorces are now initiated by women. That is not because...
And I agree. It's not a far-right movement. Far-right means extreme. It's not extreme, right? When you go far-right or you go far-left, then that means that it's extreme. And extremities in anything, you need to have temperance in everything so you can be reasonable and take into consideration all of the information to make a more informed decision. It is not a far-right movement. It's just a reality. That's all it is.
In the past, women were wildly abused, and today they are wildly liberated. What that really is when you shift the incentive structure, and it turns out that all the risk is now taken by men, women are going to be the ones who actually activate and push that divorce button. However, the red-pilled have taken it one step further, and now they're telling young men, you should not get married. It's too dangerous to get married. Don't get married. That's foolish. That's foolish. So let's go through some of these arguments because they become very popular on the right. So let's start with Pearl Davis.
I don't really see why he would disagree with that when he literally just agreed with everything that then disincentivizes men to get married. And I do think that there's a way to be successfully married, but I think that you have to take a capitalistic approach to it in order to be successful in it. But there, like anything, is still risks involved, and I'm not really sure that the risk outweigh the rewards, depending on who you are in society. But we'll get there. Let's see what it is that he has to say.
Pearl Davis is an anti-feminist who has become pretty popular these days. A lot of people label her sort of a female Andrew Tate, although without the checkered past. And here is Pearl Davis talking about marriage.
The TradCons, Daily Wire, conservatives are saying that Pearl's just a doom and gloomer who lies about stats, just focuses on the negatives, never the positives, and all the men complaining are just crybabies. And so one day he comes home and he finds out that his wife had called the police on him and told them that the first time they hooked up 10 years ago, he had quote unquote raped her. And the truth of the matter is, when a man has children, they're not his kids. A man has no way to have children and those kids be actually his. They're always hers because the courts give the women custody 90% of the time, and rich men are really the only ones that have the money to fight it and the time. So I ask the Daily Wire, Jeremy Boeing, Matt Walsh, is this just crybabies? Are they just they're crybaby, weak men who don't man up and want to risk that? So, it's interesting because instead of demanding that the laws change and demanding women face repercussions for doing this stuff, you guys demand that men need to step up and take part in a system that discriminates against them. You say, oh.
And listen, I'm going to just be honest with you. She's 100% right. She's 100% right. You can't then say that the system is broken, but you guys are weak for not still participating in the system. Why would I play in a game that's rigged against me? Once you start to come to the reality of what it is that you're facing, unless you're looking at it 100% from a business perspective and you make the adjustments accordingly, for regular everyday people, they don't have the capacity or the insight and understanding to be able to do that, yet they're still being incentivized in order to get married. You are making a decision with a limited amount of information. You have to make decisions based off of, listen, whether you like her or not, shout out to Greg, I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. Whether you like it or not, she's absolutely telling the truth. But the context is that she's speaking about it from a regular person's perspective versus a Ben Shapiro or Anton Daniels who understand what successfully married look like. For the overwhelming majority of people, you should not continue to embrace a system that is incentivized to then take you to the cleaners if you find yourself in a situation where you get married and you have children with a woman that is now adopting Western culture as her cultural norms. It's just a fact. It is what it is. I don't really understand how you can debate this.
Find a girl that prays, she won't do it. And I had this thought too, until I found a Muslim girl that did the same thing. I found a Christian girl that did the same thing. I found a Catholic girl. It's happening all over. Whether you want to believe it or not, it is happening. I don't care about your religion. I don't care about your church. This happens everywhere.
Okay, so the argument that she's making against it, all these marital policies, those are correct arguments, and nobody is disregarding the...
So I don't really understand why he's saying do not take this red pill. He literally just agreed with her, but I want to hear his context.
...of men who have been wrongfully victimized under these circumstances where the incentive structure is completely stacked against them. That is true. However, the benefits of marriage are still unbelievable. It does matter who you marry. To pretend that there is no difference between the person that you marry, that it's happening with Christians and Muslims and it's all the same, that's statistically untrue. There are things that you can do to mitigate against the risk of divorce, and the person that you marry is the chief mitigation. The truth is that in the Jewish community, we always have a backup plan in the sense that every marital contract is a prenup. Every marital contract is a prenup, right? A Jewish ketubah is a prenup. It guarantees certain levels of spousal support, for example. If you give a get, then it makes prior arrangements and all the rest. But one of the things, throwing out the baby with the bathwater is not the solution. So how about both? How about we revise the system of law? But also, in the meantime, you do need to find a spouse and get married to her. And if what
do you mean in the meantime? Listen. I think that Ben Shapiro is one of the most intelligent people, and he's been one of the most, the greatest debaters that I've seen on the internet as far as some of the different clips and the different people that he's had debates with. But you cannot tell somebody work on a law, but in the meantime still do something that then is stacked against you. What are you talking about? Listen. We could do, and he skipped over that part real quick. Listen, we can work to change the laws, but in the meantime, you should still get married. What? So you're going to continue to push people, because one of the ways in which you change laws is that you have to actually change the behavior that disincentivizes people from actually going down that pathway in the first place, to force people to then recognize that things need to change. Why would you still tell somebody to do something, but yet you understand that the laws need to be changed before they should do it, and it's in their best interest to do so? It doesn't even make any sense. So he agreed with her, but then he's saying that you still need to go down this pathway for what? Yo, Ben, blink, bro. Blink if you under duress. Blink if your girl is in the background, bro.
Requires for you to feel comfortable doing that is to shift away from the state mandated law and toward a contract arrangement, then do that as well, right? We can have churches that sponsor that sort of thing, because the truth is that those are enforceable contracts in court very often, the pre-custody arrangements and all the rest of that sort of thing. I want to go through some of the stats with regard to the benefits of marriage, because I think that it's also possible to exaggerate how bad things are for men. That doesn't mean they aren't really bad for men who end up divorced, or that women aren't divorcing men at an incredibly high rate overall, or that women aren't initiating the vast majority of divorce. Like, again, I agree with many of the critiques of current marital law. I agree with a lot of that stuff. The problem is that when you take it so far that you say that the solution for men is to not get married, now what you have done is you've created a second order effect where unmarried men become actual menaces. Okay, the reality is that men channel.
So if a guy doesn't get married, then that means that he becomes a menace. If a guy doesn't get married, he then becomes a menace. Let me rewind that really quickly just to make sure that we all on the same page.
The critiques of current marital law. I agree with a lot of that stuff. The problem is that when you take it so far that you say that the solution for men is to not get married, now what you have done is you've created a second order effect where unmarried men become actual menaces. Okay,
What?
Reality is that men channel their aggressive drives toward building, or they channel it toward destroying. And a system in which women are unmarried and men are unmarried, that's something that the left wants. And if you acquiesce in that, then you actually end up destroying the very fundamental basis of society that allows for the growing and building of a society beyond the leftist principles.
So he can't work. He can't channel his energy into taking care of business. He can't channel his energy into becoming a better version of himself. He can't go to the gym. He can't continue to grow in his career. He can't grow in his spirituality. He can't spend his time more effectively. You become a menace when you don't get married. What? What? Honestly, I think that Ben Shapiro is one of the smartest people and the greatest debaters, but this makes no sense whatsoever. What? I know plenty of men that are good men that don't have... Listen, you don't have to be a menace just because you're not married. And vice versa. A woman don't have to be a menace because she's not married. How do you become a menace because you're not married?
My answer to Pearl is both and. But yes, get married. And also, we should work to change those laws.
This is crazy.
By the way, the way that we date has an effect on how we get married and who we get married to. I mean, when I dated my wife, we went in knowing, as we began to date, that we were not going to sleep together until we were married. We knew for a fact that we were going to have long conversations about things that mattered. And this is, by the way, the best available data suggests that this is how you end up with a tangible, durable marriage that lasts a very long time, is that everybody has to be committed going in. That value, when you put values at the center of dating, that obviously doesn't mean that you're going to be impervious to the possibility of divorce, but it does mean that your chances of divorce are really a lot lower, a lot lower.
Yeah, but it doesn't completely remove it. Listen. We can sit here and talk about having safe sex, right? We can say, listen, most of y'all can avoid all of this stuff and avoid diseases if you just completely, make sure that you strap up every single time. But guess what? It does not completely remove the possibility that you're still going to get an STI or an STD. There are diseases out there that don't even require for you to actually have a condom on in order for you to get it. Usually what people do, and the reason, listen, this goes against his very argument because he's saying that, listen, we operated based off of celibacy. We decided not to even have sex before we got married. He completely mitigated the possibility of having children out of wedlock or catching a venereal disease and align himself with somebody that agreed with what it is that he's doing. So why would you then say have an and when it comes to somebody else with regard to their own standards and how it is that they think that it makes sense as far as how they're supposed to solve for the issues that men are having in society today that can significantly affect them. Ben completely removed himself. He didn't do and when it came to dating his wife. He didn't date her and have sex with her at the same time. He completely removed himself from it in order to prevent himself from making a bad decision or doing something that wasn't going to be in his best interest. But he's telling you in a different scenario or a different circumstance to have an and in order to substantiate his argument that does not make sense. If it does not work for you, if it does not align with the direction that you're going in, you have to have a hard stop and a stance against it until it changes. Otherwise, you're continuing to feed into the very system that's creating this outcome that's not ideal for men. Am I the only person that's... I'm open to the possibility that I'm wrong. I'm open to the possibility that I'm wrong, but I doubt it. Why is it a and with regard to other people's standards, but it's a or when it comes to what you stand for?
Lower. Now, I don't want to rip on Pearl here, and I don't think I am ripping on Pearl, frankly. But there are a bunch of other people who are making similar claims. So, for example, Brian Atlas was on the Whatever podcast, and here he was talking about marriage.
Would you consider a prenup?
Prenups are regularly thrown out all the time. They're typically non-enforceable, especially the longer the marriage goes on, the less likely they are to be enforced. Men get absolutely destroyed in marriage and in divorce. Financially, when it comes to the kids, women are more likely to get custody. And then also, if you do get a divorce, the financial cost of just getting the attorney, getting all that involved. If it's a contested divorce, you're going to spend mid 5 figures, 6 figures on attorneys. And you got to pay for her attorney too. 50% of marriages end in divorce, 80% of divorces are initiated by women. 90% if she's college educated. 90% of child support payments go from men to women. 97% of alimony payments go from men to women. You know, you have no fault divorce. So a woman can cheat on you. She can still get half your shit.
Okay. Again, a lot of what he's saying is true. The stats on marriage are not completely true. I'll go through those in just 1 second. Again, the rip on the divorce law is a good rip. It is a fine rip. And the answer is not for men to avoid marriage. The answer is for...
I don't really understand his position on this. The name of this video says, do not take this red pill. He's agreeing with all of the stats. He's agreeing with the rip on the court system with regard to how it is that it treats men, especially with regard to divorce. He's agreeing largely with everything that these people are saying, but then he says right after that, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. So if the odds are stacked against me at the casino, you're going to tell me not to gamble, right? And if I do gamble, go there to have fun, but don't necessarily go there looking to make money. And if you do make a little bit of money, take what it is that you can lose, that you can afford to lose, right? You're not going to tell me to go over here and stake my entire life on a casino on red, right? Because the odds are still infinitely in the casino's favor. Am I missing something? I don't really understand why he chose to die on this hill or why he chose to address this. He must have a huge female audience.
For men to find a good woman to get married to who is committed to values. Yes, of course, marriage is a risk. Of course it is. And that risk is disproportionately borne by men at this point. That is true also. But is the reward worth the risk? The answer, in a huge majority of circumstances where both people are committed, like say, share Christian values, for example, the risk is.
I don't even think he believes in what he's saying because he's never talked like this with a lack of confidence, and he's never stuttered to this point. To this effect when he's trying to make a point. Listen to how he's talking. This is not even what Ben Shapiro talk like.
The risk is worth it, is the basic principle. And again, these arguments are made not just by people.
How? Tell us how the risks are worth it. For regular, everyday, average people. Not for the rich people, not for poor people, because I had this conversation yesterday of what it is that you should be vetting for. I need to understand how he's arguing against it and that the risks are worth it if he agrees with all of the talking points with regard to it.
People like this, Andrew Tate has made the same sorts of arguments. Here's Andrew Tate talking about how men don't benefit from marriage.
I think it's a fantastic environment, and I think in an idealistic world, that's the way it would be. I think the reason it's not happening today is that I don't think many men actually benefit from marriages or relationships anymore. And people are always going to have to...
And he didn't say all, he said many men, but let's continue.
To require some degree of incentive. I think that we've set up the world now in a way where men are seen as worker droids. They're expected to go work all day, come home, clean up as well, share the cleaning with the woman, no meal prepared for them, not have any authority over the household, and just be a worker droid and be sad. And I don't think that many people understand that men are intrinsically wired to desire respect amongst our peers and in our environments. This is why CEOs work so hard, because they get respect in their company.
Okay, so again, I don't disagree with much of what he is saying, but the solution, very often with the red pill kind of movement, the diagnosis is correct and the solution is wrong. That happens very, very often in this sort of movement. I want to talk to you about Daily Wire's most trusted privacy partner and premier sponsor of this show.
I am confused. I really don't understand the position that he's trying to take on this. I'm very, very confused. Let me see if I can get a little bit more out of this in order to understand what he's trying to say.
Productivity. Sleep is the foundation of our mental and physical health and performance in our...
Reported that they were expected to be in charge of the household duties and still work a job.
I want to hear
and they had to come up.
You can't split up who handles the dishwasher is nuts. And comparing marriage to roommates, college roommates, yes, because you don't expect to be roommates with your roommate for the rest of your life and have children with them, generally speaking. A marriage is not supposed to be a contractual arrangement.
I don't know what Ben Shapiro was talking about. I don't know why he chose to die on this hill. I don't know who at the Daily Wire. I know he's owner or part owner of the Daily Wire. I don't know who put him up to this, but this is quite possibly one of the worst takes that Ben Shapiro has ever taken. I've never seen him make a worse video. Sound crazy. Anyways, let me go ahead and read some of these super chats and then I'm gonna get y'all out of here for the day. Enforcer 2K9 says, hot take, the internet is the literal matrix. I don't think so. I think the internet is a tool, just like money is a tool, just like technology is a tool, just like anything can be a tool. It can be used for good or bad, but maybe it is. Maybe it is the literal matrix. I think the Matrix is the Matrix existed long before the internet. It was actually easier for them to be able to manipulate how you see things and how you think because there was no microphone for other people to then rail against it. So I don't think that the internet is the literal Matrix. I think that the Matrix is a way of thinking and a way of programming, but it just depends on how you look at it and whether or not you take in the right information. So I don't know. That's an argument that could be made. Maybe we'll have that conversation tomorrow when I let y'all come up on the platform. Let me give a shout out to my dog. Greg Charlie said they are already replacing us with AI and the UAW, regardless if we strike or not, for better pay temporarily, gives us time to prepare for when they close the doors for good. I've been prepping. I'm a bag chaser, and I need that coaching call. Shout out to Greg Charlie that actually understands what's happening, and he's not waiting for something to work for him, but he's actually making the adjustments according to what it is that he knows is coming, because it is coming. It is coming. Shout out to Greg Charlie. Again, I appreciate it for the 50 ball and supporting the platform. Zero Fucks Experience says, track cons are de facto feminists. They both blame men for everything. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you for supporting the platform. And thank you to everybody that continues to rock out with me on a daily basis here at the Millionaire Morning Show. You know what we doing tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, Fridays, I'll let you guys come up, ask me questions, especially if you disagree with me. I prefer that the majority of the conversations are people that disagree with me because I do not want to live in an echo chamber. Shout out to my fellow rappers. Stay in y'all lane. Not all of them are bad, but some of them are bad. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to Brock. Brock hit me with the Pass of Love offering, said, great show as always. I appreciate you, bro. And I want to thank y'all. I want to thank y'all for allowing me to get y'all through y'all day. I know that y'all days would be long if you didn't have this 2 hours to be able to get you through your day, but I'm dedicated to you. I appreciate you. Thank y'all for continuing to pour into me. I'm definitely on y'all side. If you would Ben Shapiro on this, then make sure you call in tomorrow. You do not have to cam up at all. And so if you want to call in and you want to hold me accountable, or you have a completely different stance, or you think that I'm an Uncle Tom or something like that, then you're more than welcome to do that, because I don't dodge no smoke. No smoke whatsoever. Listen, I love you. I appreciate you. I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here, though. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. You guys know what it is. Run it up. Get that bag. I'm about to get my DoorDash from my UAW worker that's on strike right now. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all in a little bit. Peace.